All right, what's up, guys? I just wanted to do a breakdown pretty much of how I did this haircut. The guy came in and his name's Haz, and we wanted to do I think we ended up doing like a mid taper. So I just kind of wanted to break it down on how I did it and the steps that were involved while doing this haircut. So as you can see right now, I'm going in and I'm sectioning the hair. I just want to make sure that I can have a clear foundation for the hair that I'm going to cut and the hair that I'm not going to cut. As you can see, the sections is pretty smooth. I'm just adding these clips now so I can have a more cleaner line. I'm gonna go in with my 2 guard. Looks like I have it closed, and I'm pretty much just debulking. So I'm going in everywhere that I see the longer hair, and I'm just going in slowly, and I'm trying to flick out. With this flicking out motion, you're kind of playing it safe, so you're not going in and cutting too much off the top of the hair. So now I'm just gonna go all around the head and make sure I can do that consistently so I can have like my starting base. Me personally, I like to debulk everything before I start to fade so it can make my life just a little bit easier. Right here, I'm going in with my 1/2 guard, lever all the way open, and I'm pretty much just fading down. So we started off at a 2, and now I'm going down to a 1.5. I'm just gonna go in and pretty much tidy everything up a little bit more for my preference. You know, he is keeping the hair on the top, so I'm kind of imagining if he was going to tie his hair back, would this haircut suit him in that sense? Because I don't want to bring it too low on the sides, and then it's just like you can't really see the blend, or it kind of just looks bald. Because in this haircut I don't use any enhancements, so I'm gonna have to use the most of what I got. Now I'm going in with my liners. This is pretty much just my bald line to start off the taper. I usually just aim for like right where the glasses line would be, just a little bit lower, kind of like where the ear connects to the head. And I'm going in and just clearing that out right now. He did say he wanted his beard lined up, so we will go in and fade it a little bit. Right here, it's still the 1.5. I think the lever's closed, and I'm going in and I'm just fading down like we said before, making it a little bit more neater for the overall cut. I really like to get a lot of detail work in, so I do that. This is my no guard, lever all the way open. I'm going in. I just go up, like I couldn't tell you the exact measurement, but you know, you just go up and you kind of just estimate or guesstimate. I go in, lever all the way open, and from that process now, I'll start to slowly close the lever until it's fully closed, and then I'll get that line out that we set with the liners. Now remember, the last guard that I used was a 1.5, and then I jumped straight to the no guard, lever all the way open. So now I'm meeting the fades in the middle, I guess you could say. That's the best way to put it. With the bulk, I will fade down, and then now I go up and I'll meet in the middle. So now with my 1 guard right here, I'm going to try to knock off the line that's right above that no guard. And there's just a lot of flicking motion. There's a lot of corners being involved with the clipper. That's how you get the most detail, and you know, you can get as much accuracy as possible. I'm pretty sure I ended up going in with a 0.5 as well to go and detail it a little bit more, but it seems like I didn't record it. Now I'm going in with the liners, and I'm just pretty much making that C-cup. The C-cups can be tricky, especially doing a all natural cut. If you don't leave enough hair for where the lineup needs to go, you can end up just having no line there. So I'd say just try your best to keep the line there, and then you can always go back in and touch it up and do more fading if you need to make the taper pop out even more. But right now I'm just tidying up that line and making sure everything looks crisp. I do the same behind the ear. I just use the corner of the liners, and I will go over that same line multiple times, making sure you brush that hair down and then go over the line again. Remember, it's just the corners. It's kind of like a pencil in a sense. You have to make sure you have a steady hand. Now we're gonna go and knock the beard down. I have my 2 guard on, and he just said he wanted me to bring it down to my preference, so I'm bringing it down to what I thought would look the best. I'm pretty much just going with the grain the whole time because I don't want to take too much off. Still want to keep something there, and then right now is I'm starting the fading process, so I'll go against the grain with that same 2 guard. Right here, I am going in with the 1.5, and I'm slowly closing the lever little by little so I can fade it all the way down to the skin. I'll end up then now throwing my 1 guard on right here, and I'll do the same exact thing. Yeah, I just feel like these videos need to be more necessary, and I need to make more of them for you guys because I've been getting kind of caught up in just cutting hair. So now with the back, we kind of do the same process as we did with the side tapers. I'm going in with the 2 guard, lever all the way open, and I'm just debulking all the hair. A trick with this, I'd say, is you can go up a little bit higher as long as you're being careful, because some hairs that are like right at the base, you don't want, I'm kind of scared too to go too high up and knock it off. But as you can see, I go up, but I don't follow through. I'll just kind of go up and like jagger it a little bit, I guess you could say. And then the comb, when I go in with the comb, it'll knock like those extra hairs out. But pretty much I'm just creating a foundation. You want to start off with a foundation and make sure your canvas is clean before you start going in and starting to fade. I know other people do it differently, but this is the method that I feel like a lot of barbers use, and it's the one that makes the most sense to me. And then I'm just gonna keep doing that, going with my liners now. I'm setting the bald line. As you can see, I'm using a different pair of liners. These liners have a deeper tooth, so the initial line that I'm setting, it won't be super harsh compared to the ones I do lineups with, so it'll be easier to just blend it out. That's the only reason for that. I also use these for like the beard or the more sensitive areas of the neckline and stuff like that. I think it's always good to have 2 different liners, one that's like extra precise and then one that can just kind of do your debulking. I'm going in now. It looks like it is the 1.5 again. So literally the same exact steps as I did on the taper on the side. But we're going in with a 1.5 and just going up and trying to fade down and make it as uniform as possible, really. This technique can be used pretty much on any hair type. It's just setting the foundation, I think, is the most crucial part when it comes to it, since not a lot of people know what they should be looking for. I say just try to make it look as consistent as possible. But the hardest part is taking out those lines. So I'm still just going in with the 1.5. Now I'm going in with the no guard, lever all the way open. I'm going up just a little bit, and I want to have enough space to where I can still flick out that very bottom line that was set in with the initial liners. By doing this process where I'm meeting it in the middle, it seems more efficient for me, especially too, because then I can just meet in the middle, compared to if you start at the bottom and you try to fade up, then the fade could go too high up. Or if you start at the top and then try to fade down, maybe it'll be too low of a taper for what you're looking for, even what the client wants. Now I'm going in with the 1 guard, lever all the way open, and I'm pretty much meeting in the middle. As you remember, the last guard we used was the 1.5. So this will make it easier for us to meet in the middle. So 1 guard, lever all the way open, and then I will slowly just start to close the lever when I feel need be, just so I can go and flick out those dark spots. There will be times where I use the full blade, and then I'll go and switch and start using the corners. And every time I use the corners, that's just really for the little detail work, I guess you could say. Looks like I'm going in now with my 0.5s to really tidy everything up. And as you can see, most of the lines, or damn near all the lines, are gone now. So I'm gonna go in and add that line up on the side shortly after this. But that 0.5 is a magic eraser, they call it. As you can see, that fade is looking blendy, it's looking crispy. So now I go in with my sharper liners, and I set those lines. You don't have to beat the skin up. You don't have to beat the line up. The clippers will do its job if you have good clippers. Just make sure you're trying to cut the hair and not the skin of the client. I just start at the bottom, and I'll meet back up to the top where I made that curve for the taper. And then I'll just go in and clean up everything underneath. When you're cleaning it up, me personally, I like to just flip the clipper around, because if you try to clean that up while you have the blade set like directly to the skin, I feel like you're more prone to cut the client as well. And now right here, I'm pretty much just doing the same exact thing as I did on the other side. just wanted to speed up the whole process so you guys can see. When it comes to me and cutting hair, I couldn't care less for making it super flashy or super like sharp. Me, I'm more detail oriented, so I want to make sure that I'm getting my steps consistent and just overall approach like set. Your client will notice the details for sure, and they'll see how much time you put into the cut, so then that'll definitely make sure they want to come back. It's a given. But I say with each step, make sure you're trying your best to perform and make it pop out as you would like, and just go from there. Say another thing too is just make sure the consultation, you guys are very clear on what kind of cut you're trying to give them, because there's times where you can just give them the wrong cut, but they described it to you perfectly. So I say images are good for that. I'm just lining up the mustache right here with those thicker liners. The mustache, like the lip part, this area can get pretty sensitive too if you're heavy-handed. So if you're heavy-handed, I'd advise not to use your sharper liners. Right here with a lineup is another tricky part. I'm just pulling down like the baby hairs, but I'm trying to make it very consistent over the front. You don't want to push or make his double lineup longer than it needs to be. So I'm just going in and making sure I can set that base. Now I'm going in, looks like it's the 2-guard. I'm going against the grain for this one just because of the way his hair is set, but most of the time I'll go with the grain. Make sure you're very careful with this, because if you don't know what you're doing, it'll be very easy to just chop into the longer hair that's on the top of his head. I'm now going in and lining it up. I always start in the middle, and then I go to the right, and then I go to the left, and then I go back and then try to add some finishing touches. Right now I'll go all the way to the right. It's just keep it as natural as possible. You know, yes, straight and accurate, but just as natural as possible. Like sometimes if they got a McDonald's lineup, like you can match that as long as it's symmetrical. I feel like you're fine. You don't need to be super precise on how straight it is. It's just making sure that it's symmetrical. And that's like the biggest part. Obviously, you don't want to give them a U on their head, but, you know, put in some effort. So now I go to the right side, and now I'm going back to the left side to clean it back up. Here's my favorite part is the vertical bars, because I've had a lot of time growing up where I would just push these back so far while cutting my own hair. So actually getting them right is a crucial step. As you can see, before I started lining up the vertical bars, I pulled the hair out so it can I can really see what I'm working with, because you can line it up without pulling that hair out, and then maybe the client goes home and then he sees that, oh, when he brushes his hair or when his hair moves, there's still more hair overlapping the lineup. So I say just pull all the hair out and then line it up, and it'll also just make it look better. Do the same thing on the other side, and make sure that, you know, you're just being delicate and careful, because at the end of the day, you know, you're an artist. You want to make sure that you're giving good art and you're making quality cuts. I'm just gonna go back in and do a little bit more details. Now for the beard, what I like to do is I'll put a little bit of shaving gel on a comb, and I'll just go over that lineup for their beard. And then I'm just gonna go over and then pretty much just make sure that the blade is, you know, somewhat parallel with the skin, but kind of go at a slight angle. And I'm just kind of just drawing the outline for the beard shape. And then I wipe all that excess hair off that we kind of pulled from the skin. And then I'm gonna go over the beard one more time. It's not gonna be super sharp, but it does what it needs to do and gets the job done. I do the same now with the lineup. Make sure I go in and I just make sure I clean it up with that same razor, and then I'll go in on the C-cups as well. It makes everything pop, and it gives that client that confidence too, knowing that you went in with the razor, so they know they got an even better cut. I say if you are beginning cutting hair or whatever, and you like my videos and you think that you're learning something from them, you know, leave a comment, leave a like, do what you gotta do. But this is Camp's Cuts, and here was a natural cut. I hope you like it. Thank you.